No, no, there was a couple of things here. Come and see. Too bad. Anyway. I want to get both the spoon and the name together. Yeah, what? On the side is it has the name for the yeah, for the
We'll see. Don't know where the boss is.
So you have to put your name in at the base of the You two are going to be down here because you're right in the line of the camera and you're up here. Go all the way down to the bottom. I don't want you to stand on the stairs and talk. Unless you want to stand on the stairs, then you can.
Straight from the 80s.
So you can.
Straight from the 80s.
An Aspen right there. We're driving a Porsche.
That, you're exactly right. I should be doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
YouTube.
Check my colors. Are they really blue? Are they?
I can really see the difference.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was the commercial.
Guess what these cost?
A lot. Yeah. $3.99. That's pretty good.
If you bump it, I usually get those. My toxic is like That one has exercise.
Yeah.
Except like,
And on
there you go. Now listen, if you need help, I've got these answers just started. No. It's just like ads or just like you're there to help you with that. Not being on
It's a blue blocker. Straight from the 80s. They're a lot more expensive than they were back in the 80s. And I know there's just like a warehouse sitting someplace filled with boxes of these things. Nobody else is wearing it.
So I had a Toyota. You good?
Yeah.
I don't know why we didn't use it's really nice. Somebody taking pictures besides Tony?
Chloe's been taking some periodically.
Did you take any from up here?
No, but I'm going to. Hey, Toya.
Toya. This way. Can you do one from here with us facing you with that in the background before we start?
Okay.
That'll work?
You want me to do one here? From behind you?
Here, so we can see the audience behind us.
What would be a selfie?
What would be a selfie?
Turn around, guys. Just gonna do one.
I'm gonna switch to water lens.
What you saying?
Wider. You said water lens?
She said wider.
Okay.
If I get the background, I gotta have a wider lens.
Got it.
Yeah, sure. Stop telling all my secrets.
Yeah, right. Those are the jokes. Right back there.
The important thing is to get them behind us.
Dude, you know it's short, right?
We're not exactly basketball players. Hey, you like the music? I got a lot of music, so we're ready.
All right, fine.
You're ready. We're ready.
Okay.
Which one? This? 1200.
I can stand here.
That's why you're staying.
It took me a while to pay that one off. Let me tell
I
you.
would never be able to justify that.
I did a lot of fun days.
It's my best.
Josh, you taking pictures with that camera as well?
No, this is the live stream. So this is shooting into that room and this room.
So they can hear us right now?
Yeah, they can. About 12.
Graduates, families, and friends, welcome to the Myers-Lawson School of Construction Spring 2019 Hardhatting Ceremony.
You don't hear anything down there.
We'll try this again. That's as loud as we can go. Graduates, families, and friends, welcome to the Myers-Lawson School of Construction Spring 2019 Hardhatting Ceremony. I am Dr. Brian Kleiner, and I have the honor of serving these graduates and all of you as a school director. Please join our faculty, staff, and me in welcoming the nation's best and brightest construction graduates. And graduates, please consider joining me in thanking your family and friends for their support, both moral and, unfortunately for them, in many cases, financial. I am a hokey dad twice over. There are no tuition breaks for faculty if anybody cares, so I feel your pain. Today, we will be recognizing graduating undergraduates in building construction, or BC, and construction engineering and management, or CEM, along with master's and doctoral graduates in building construction, as well as graduates from the Basilio Graduate Construction Program in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, or VCEP. What's that, Dr. Gaylord? Why a hard-hatting ceremony? Thank you for the question. A little bit of history. Although these students are all in the school's family, they graduate in separate ceremonies. Yesterday was the graduate ceremony. Tomorrow, very early in the morning, I apologize, BC families and friends, will be the College of Architecture and Urban Studies ceremony. Later in the morning, at 11 o'clock, will be the College of Engineering ceremony, where the CEM students will graduate. So the hard-hatting ceremony is our opportunity to bring together all of our students and faculty and staff, family, together, along with all of our extended family, all of you. It's also an opportunity for us to recognize each individual student on a more personal basis and meet their families at the reception to immediately follow in the building behind me. If you're curious, the iconic hard hat sitting in front of us was a gift by Mr. Lawson, who co-founded the school. It is handmade and worth a close look after the ceremony is completed. So welcome to our home and our students' home, Bishop Favreau Hall. Before we begin the hard-hatting ceremony in very short order, if you want long commencement speeches, tomorrow will not disappoint you. Let me briefly share with you some of the family conversations we had with your students in the home behind me. We talked about the fact that when these students started 4 years ago as freshmen, the CEM program had 113 students. It has grown this year to 187 students. On our way to a university goal for us of 375 students. There is that much demand in the industry. We talked about an even more amazing statistic, the growth in building construction from 298 students when these graduates were freshmen to an astounding 495 students this year, on our way to well over 500. We talked about outgrowing this 30,000 square foot building behind us. And then we celebrated when several of the school's donors got together and raised $30 million for a new building, Pitt Hall, which will go on the other side of Bishop Favreau, and we will be breaking ground this fall. We also celebrated the first national rankings of construction programs, which ranked building construction #1 in the state and #3 in the U.S. College Factual also ranked the CEM program as #3 most popular in the nation. We also had many discussions behind us about diversity and inclusion. We discussed that in this male-dominated industry with only 6.4% women construction managers, we are graduating more than 3 times that number. And again, the most diverse school of construction in the country, with 50% faculty who are women. We celebrated Associated Schools of Construction competition teams, solar decathlon competition wins, capstone competitions, and so much more. In the Build Lab, they designed and built projects for classes, and perhaps maybe you received some holiday gifts manufactured right here in our Build Lab. Also, students and faculty prepared for several service learning projects to help the less fortunate in such locations as Belize, Peru, Hawaii, the homeless population in Hawaii, and here at home. Next week, several students will be going to Vietnam to build a 2-room schoolhouse for the less fortunate. When you join us for the reception, we have slideshows playing throughout the building that depict a lot of these activities. And finally, on the front lawn of our home, we are about to celebrate an amazing class of students. So without further blah, blah, blahs, or as Charlie Brown would say, wah, 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 let's begin. Joining me on the stage are several individuals that are worthy of recognition and introduction. Dr. Bob Muir, to my right, is the coordinator of the Construction Engineering and Management program. To his right, Dr. Andrew McCoy is the department head of building construction. We have, representing our advisors on the floor, Ms. Ann Lee, the CEM advisor. And we have Ms. Renee Ryan, Assistant Director for Student Affairs in Building Construction, representing all of the advisors in DC. We have behind me Laura Howard, who is our Industry Programs Manager and the coordinator of this event, including the reception. I would also acknowledge Georg Reichart. Dr. Reichart was the marshal in today's professional. And Dr. Josh Iorio, today's videographer, but who is normally the assistant director of the school. And others, I'd like to recognize Shelton Norwood for his help, Lisa Cash for her help, and all the faculty and staff who helped out behind the scenes.
And Gary Kinton.
Getting there. And last but not least, Mr. Gary Kinder, BC Senior Advisor, will read the names. Good luck with that, Gary. And I will share some information about where each student is headed and what they have been doing in their extracurricular time while at BT. And please take notice of how balanced these students are and the level of ut prosum or service they performed while with us. And finally, some instructions. As Mr. Kinder reads the names, please do not hold your applause until the end. That would be those other ceremonies. If you prefer to wait until the end to applause, or you really did come here for long commencement speeches, you will not be disappointed tomorrow morning. And how many of you braved the weather this morning in the stadium? Again, not this ceremony. The weather is beautiful. So with that, let's begin. Mr. Kinder.
Ladies and gentlemen of the cheap seats, can you hear me? You good? A little bit. That's about all I got. I've never been accused of not being heard, but we'll try.
I got it.
It's my honor to share with you the class of 2019 of the Myers-Lawson School of Construction. Mr. Grant Morrill.
Grant is from Zuni, Virginia. He will graduate with a degree in building construction. He has accepted a position with Henderson as a project engineer in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Mr. James Atkinson.
James is a building construction major from North Cumberland, Virginia. Upon graduation, he will be an assistant project manager with Tuning and Wilmer. While at Tech, he served as the president of Ducks Unlimited and was a member of the Virginia Tech Alpine Ski Team.
Ms. Brenna Baker.
Brenner hails from Bowie, Maryland. Upon receiving her degree in construction engineering and management, she will be employed as a project engineer with Donahoe Construction. She was an active member of Engineers Without Borders and served as a treasurer and was the co-lead for the Nicaragua project.
Mr. Eric Banks.
Eric is a building construction major from Coburn, Virginia. Eric was a member of the Virginia Tech football team from 2013 to 2017 at the cornerback position.
Mr. Joseph Passy.
Joseph is a construction engineering and management major, calls Springfield, Virginia his home.
Sorry.
He will go to work for Power Design as a project engineer in the St. Petersburg, Florida area.
Mr. Brett Davey.
Brett is also a building construction major from Morgantown, Pennsylvania, and he will be joining Donahoe Construction Company in Bethesda, Maryland.
Mr. Benjamin Belvin.
Benjamin is from Glen Allen, Virginia. Upon graduating with his degree in building construction, he will be employed by Barton Mallow as an assistant superintendent in Richmond, Virginia. During his time at Tech, he served as a worship leader at the Baptist Collegiate Ministry.
Mr. David Biederman.
David's hometown is Suffolk, Connecticut. He was a building construction major and will be in Quantico as a United States Marine Corps officer. He has served as the Semper Fi Society president. Thank you in advance, David, for your service.
Ms. Megan Blybaum.
Megan graduates with a degree in building construction. She will return to her hometown of Baltimore, Maryland, and will be employed by Chesapeake Contracting Group as a project engineer.
Ms. Katie Bouchard.
Katie is a construction engineering and management major, is from Gardner, Massachusetts. She will move to San Diego with Suffolk Construction. Katie has served as a CEM ambassador, global education advisor, and participated in 4 different national and international service projects: New Orleans, Kauai, Belize, and she's headed to Vietnam next week.
Mr. Warren Braxton.
Warren, I'm adding this, is perhaps the most well-dressed student in the class. He's graduating with a degree in building construction. He will return home to Richmond, Virginia as an estimator with Kellstrom and Lee. While at Tech, he served as president of the Residence Housing Federation, the president of the Virginia Tech Corps Cadets Hall Council. He was a BC ambassador and a member and pep band director for the Heidi Tidies.
Mr. Fabio Bracco.
Fabio is a building construction major from Newland, North Carolina. He will be an engineer officer with the U.S. Army at Camp Humphreys. And then he'll be off to serve our country in South Korea. He served as an operations officer for the Corps of Cadets. He was assistant operations officer for the Army ROTC, residence advisor, and a BC ambassador. Thank you, Fabio, for your service.
Mr. Dylan Brooks.
Dylan is from Hurt, Virginia. He will graduate with his degree in building construction and will be employed by Davis Construction as a project engineer in Rockville, Maryland.
Mr. Maverick Brooks.
A building construction major from Gretna, Virginia. He will be a field engineer with Kellstrom and Lee in Harrisonburg, Virginia. While at Tech, he was president of the Lift Barbell Club and a member of Sigma Lambda Chi.
Mr. Justin Brown.
Justin hails from Ruckersville, Virginia. He graduates with his degree in building construction and will be employed by Bart Mallow as a project engineer in that other city up the street, Charlottesville, Virginia.
Mr. Blake Butler.
Blake is a building construction major. He hails from Fort Myers, Florida. He will be stationed in Pensacola, Florida as a naval aviator. He served as a building construction ambassador. Blake, thank you for your service.
Mr. Joshua Canaris.
Joshua is from Waynesboro, Virginia. Upon graduating with his degree in building construction, he will be employed by Alan Myers as a field engineer.
Ms. Alexandra Capizzi.
Alexandra is from Ottawa, New Jersey. She will graduate with her degree in building construction and will work for Structure Tone as a rotational project engineer in New York City. During her time at Tech, she served as the construction chair for the 2019 leadership team and was a member of the Alpha Chi Omega sorority.
Mr. Gregory Carpenter.
Gregory is a construction engineering and management major from Secaucus, New Jersey. Upon graduation, he will be stationed at Quantico as a second lieutenant with the U.S. Marine Corps. Gregory, thank you in advance for your service.
Mr. Nicholas Clark.
Nicholas hails from Shenandoah, Virginia, and will be graduating with a degree in construction engineering and management. He will be a project engineer with Lands Construction in Broadway, Virginia. He is a member of Sigma Lambda Chi.
Mr. Carson Koger.
Carson is a building construction major from Clifton Forge, Virginia. Upon graduation, he will be in Stanton, Virginia, working as a project engineer with Kellstrom and Lee. While at Tech, he founded the Amateur Musician Club. Spencer Cole. Spencer is a construction engineering and management major from Virginia Beach, Virginia. He will go to work for Fluor Corporation as a construction engineer in Greenville, South Carolina. He served as secretary for the student chapter of the Construction Management Association of America.
Iswinmi Dao.
We love her too. She is from Sterling, Virginia, and will be graduating with a degree in building construction. She will be working for Scott Long Construction as a project engineer. While at Virginia Tech, she was a member of the Building Women in Construction student group.
Is Alyssa Davis.
Alyssa. Yeah, we're keeping her. Alyssa, a building construction major, is from Leesburg, Virginia. She will be pursuing her master's degree in building construction. She was an active member of the Constructors Consortium and was a member of the Associated Schools of Construction competition teams.
Monsieur Dominic DeLeon.
Dominic is from Short Hills, New Jersey. He is receiving his degree in building construction and will stay on at Virginia Tech as a graduate student pursuing his master's degree. He was a member of the 2019 Solar Decathlon Design Challenge, which we won.
Mr. Bogdan Dravakovic.
Building construction major from Rockville, Maryland. He will be moving to Bethesda, Maryland upon graduation to accept a position as assistant superintendent with Donahoe Construction. He was a member of the Virginia Tech men's lacrosse team.
Mr. Bok Dong.
Bok calls Chantilly, Virginia home upon graduation with a degree in building construction. He will be a project engineer with Balfour Beatty in Fairfax, Virginia. He was a member of the Student Powerlifting Association, founder and vice president of Humans at Virginia Tech, Car Club at Virginia Tech, and served on the Hyperloop team.
Mr. Chase Carroll.
Chase is from Roanoke, Virginia. He will graduate with a degree in building construction and will be employed with Falconer as an assistant project manager in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Mr. Benjamin Flannery.
Benjamin is a building construction major. Upon graduation, he will return home to Richmond as a field engineer for Whiting Turner. He is a member of Sigma Lambda Chi.
Mr. Ennis Forbes.
Ennis is from Atlanta, Georgia. Upon graduating with his degree in building construction, he will be employed with Kiewit in Alexandria, Virginia. He is a member of the Kappa Alpha Order, the Virginia Tech Clay Target Team, and was vice president of the Cornhole Club.
Mr. Caleb Galvis.
Caleb is a construction engineering and management major from Flint, Michigan. Upon graduation, he will be a project engineer with the Chrisman Company in Lansing, Michigan. He was the vice president of the student chapter of veterans at Virginia Tech.
Mr. Gunjan Garg.
Gunjan is graduating from the Basilio Construction Engineering and Management Graduate Program. He will be employed with Project Controls in Houston, Texas. He served as a board member of the International Students Advisory Board and a council member of the Civil Engineering Graduate Student Association.
Mr. Tanner Garapi.
Tanner is a building construction major from Draycott, Massachusetts. He will be employed as a project engineer with McCarthy Construction in Modesto, California. He was a member of the Virginia Tech Clay Target Team.
Ms. Megan Golanowski.
Megan is a construction engineering and management major from Burke, Virginia. She will be employed by Hensel Phelps as a field engineer in the Washington, D.C. area. She served as Director of Public Relations for the Newman Community Wishmakers, was a CEM ambassador, and was a member of the Building Women in Construction group.
Mr. Manuel Gomez Ruotolo, and sidekick.
Manuel is from Woodbridge, Virginia. He will receive his degree in building construction and will be employed with HIT Contracting as a project engineer in Arlington, Virginia.
Mr. Matt Green.
Matt is from Haymarket, Virginia. Upon graduating with a degree in construction engineering and management, he will be a project manager in Manassas, Virginia for R.W. Murray. He was a member of the ASC concrete team.
Mr. Andrew Rosso.
Andrew is a construction engineering and management major from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Upon graduation, he will be stationed in Pensacola, Florida, in the United States Air Force as a combat systems officer. Thank you, Andrew, for your service.
Mr. Cameron Handley.
Cameron will be receiving his master's degree in building construction and is from Afton, Virginia. He will be employed by Rand Construction in Alexandria, Virginia.
Mr. David Harrington.
David is from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Upon receiving his degree in building construction, he will be an assistant project manager with Centennial in Dumfries, Virginia. He is a member of Sigma Lambda Chi, Build Lab, the ASC competition teams, Constructors Consortium, and, not to be undone, the Cornhole Club.
Ms. Corbin Harrison.
Corbin is a construction engineering and management major, is from Glen Ellen, Virginia. Upon graduation, she will be a project engineer at Horrigan Construction in Charlottesville, Virginia. She was the captain of the Virginia Tech gymnastics team, was a member of the InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, and was a CEM ambassador and served as the secretary for Sigma Lambda Chi.
Mr. Henry Hazel.
Henry is, I didn't recognize him without his bow tie. Hi, Henry. Henry is from Warrenton, Virginia. He will be graduating with a degree in building construction. He was a member of the Constructors Consortium and the CMAA student chapter. He will intern at Whiting Turner this summer as he completes his second major in real estate.
Mr. Cole Herndon.
Cole is from Rapine, Virginia. He will be receiving his degree in construction engineering and management and will be working as a field engineer for Branch and Associates in Roanoke, Virginia. He served as a project selections chair, vice president, and president of the Building Goodness Foundation and the event coordinator of Constructors Consortium. He also, at last week's award ceremony, received an MLSOC Service Award for his service to the Build Lab and the foundation.
Ms. Danielle Hill.
Danielle, a construction engineering and management major, is from Clear Spring, Maryland. Thank you, Gary.
Sorry.
She served as treasurer and president for the Building Women in Construction student group.
Mr. John Hinson.
John, a building construction major, is from, of all places, Blacksburg, Virginia. He will be employed by D.R. Horton in Downingtown, Pennsylvania upon graduation. He participated in overseas service learning projects while with us.
Mr. Paul Hume.
Paul is from Crozet, Virginia, and will be graduating with a degree in building construction. He will be stationed in Quantico as a second lieutenant in the Marine Corps. Thank you, Paul, for your service.
Ms. Grace Hughes.
Grace, a construction engineering and management major, is from Hampton, Virginia. She will be employed by Jacobs as a project engineer in Arlington, Virginia. She served also as a CEM ambassador, a member of the ASCE student chapter, the Virginia Tech Concrete Canoe Team, and was a member of the Construction Management Association of America.
Mr. Chase Hunter.
Chase is from Mechanicsville, Virginia. Upon graduation with his degree in in building construction, he'll be employed by Breeden Construction as an assistant project manager in Richmond, Virginia.
Mr. Trevor Jones.
Trevor is a building construction major from Moseley, Virginia. He will go to work for Balfour Beatty in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Mr. Nick Kimmel.
Nick is a construction engineering and management major from Somerset, Pennsylvania. He will be stationed at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri with the Army Corps of Engineers. Thank you for your service, Nick.
Mr. William Hurst.
William is from Yorktown, Virginia. He will be receiving his degree in building construction and will be working for Holder Company. He is a member of the Kappa Alpha Order.
Mr. Scott Kaiser.
Scott is a building construction major from Stanton, Virginia. He will be working for William A. Hazel Construction as an estimator in Chantilly, Virginia. He was a member of the Rotaract Club, Ducks Unlimited, vice president of the Real Estate Club, and president of the Cornhole Club.
Mr. Connor Kish.
Connor is from Oceanside, California. He will be graduating with a degree in building construction. He has accepted a position with Hensel Phelps as a field engineer in Washington, D.C.
Ms. Olivia Kiss.
Olivia is a building construction major from North Charleston, South Carolina. She will be a project engineer for Clark Construction in Seattle, Washington. She is a chapter founder and public relations officer for the Building Goodness Foundation.
Mr. Pranav Kulkarni.
Pranav is graduating from the Visalio Construction Engineering and Management program. He is from Mumbai, India, and will be employed by MCN Build as a project engineer in Washington, D.C. He is an active volunteer for the Indian Student Association.
Mr. Zhang Wei Wei.
He is a building construction major from Guangzhou, China, graduating with his building construction degree.
Mr. Carter Lopez Gomez.
Carter is from Berlin, Vermont. He will be graduating with a degree in building construction and will be a project engineer for Kiewit.
Ms. Wai-Ting Rowe.
Wai-Ting is from China and will be graduating with a degree in building construction.
Ms. Wai-Mi Low.
Wai-Mi is also from China and will be graduating with a degree in building construction.
Mr. Brian Maloney.
Brian hails from Midlothian, Virginia. He will be graduating with a degree in construction engineering and management. He will be working for DPR as a project engineer in Richmond, Virginia. He has served as a vice president and president of Sigma Tau Gamma, was a CEM ambassador, was a member of the ASE competition teams, and was recognized last week as our outstanding CEM senior.
Mr. Eric Marshall.
Eric is from Long Valley, New Jersey. He will graduate with a degree in building construction. He will be employed with PC Construction as an office engineer. He is a member of the Farmhouse Fraternity.
Ms. Ashley Martin.
Ashley is a building construction major from Teaneck, New Jersey. She has accepted a position as project engineer with HIT Contracting in Falls Church, Virginia. She is a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority and the Caribbean Student Association.
Mr. Malik McCaskill.
Malik is a building construction major from Cape Charles, Virginia. He will work for Branscombe as a project engineer in Tosley, Virginia.
Ms. Katie McNulty.
Katie is from New Canaan, Connecticut. She will graduate with a degree in building construction and will be employed by Turner Construction as an engineering assistant in New York City.
Mr. Raheel Mehta.
Raheel is a student in the Basilio Construction Engineering graduate program. His hometown is Mumbai, India. Upon graduation, he will be a project engineer with Hathaway Dinwiddie in San Francisco, California.
Mr. Connor Metcalf.
Connor is from Herndon, Virginia. He will be receiving a degree in building construction and will work for Manhattan Construction as a project engineer in Arlington, Virginia.
Mr. Tim Moran.
Tim is a building construction major from Salem, Virginia. He will work for CBG Building Company as a project engineer in our nation's capital.
Mr. Carter Mullenix.
Carter is a construction engineering and management major from Dayton, Maryland. Upon graduation, he will be in Greenbelt, Maryland as a field engineer with Whiting Turner. He has served as a CEM ambassador and is vice president for Sigma Lambda Chi.
Mr. Nathan Nguyen.
Nathan is a building construction major from Clifton, Virginia. He will be employed as a project engineer with Shirley Contracting in Fairfax, Virginia. He served as the treasurer for Constructors Consortium.
Mr. Kyung Hook No.
He is a construction engineering and management major from Daegu, Korea. He has accepted a position as assistant project manager with CJ Coakley in Falls Church, Virginia.
Mr. Patrick Olson.
Patrick is from Norfolk, Virginia. He is a building construction major and will join Lend-Lease upon graduation.
Mr. Joe O'Neill.
Joe is a building construction major from Chesterfield, Virginia. He will be with DPR in Seattle, Washington. He has served as the president of the Constructors Consortium, was a member of the ASC competition teams, including the winning team this year, a building construction ambassador, and was vice president of the Mountain Bike Club. And last week, Joe as well was recognized for his outstanding service to the school.
Mr. Jairaj Patel.
He's graduating from the Basilio Construction Engineering and Management graduate program. He is from India and will go to work for the Kiewit Building Group in Washington, D.C. He served as treasurer of the North American Society for Trenchless Technology.
Mr. Chase Patton.
Chase is from Sterling, Massachusetts. He will be graduating with a degree in building construction. He has accepted a position with Frank L. Bloom Construction as a field engineer in Raleigh, North Carolina. He is a member of the Phi Delta Theta fraternity.
Mr. Palmer Perry.
Palmer is a construction engineering and management major from Roanoke, Virginia. Upon graduation, he will be in Winston-Salem with Flatiron as a field engineer. He served as a CEM ambassador and student leader of the mentorship program.
Mr. Aaron Pelletier.
Aaron graduates with a degree in building construction. He is from Lynchburg, Virginia, and will be going to work in Leesburg, Virginia for Hensel Phelps as a field engineer. He has served as a building construction ambassador. Mr. Mayank Perwal. Mayank is a construction engineering and management major from Kolkata, India. He has served as the treasurer for Appalachia Service Project. He's been on the Student Government Association as assistant director for equity and inclusion. He's a legislative member at large and as a CEM ambassador. Mr. Jordan Casinas. Jordan is from Lovettsville, Virginia. He graduates with his degree in construction engineering and management. He will be a field engineer with Kiewit in Alexandria, Virginia. Mr. James Purcell. James is a construction engineering and management major from Fairhaven, New Jersey. He has accepted a position with Tishman as a project engineer in New York City. He is a member of Beta Theta Pi. Mr. Richard Randolph. Richard will be receiving his degree in building construction and is from Washington, D.C. He will turn to Washington to work as an office engineer for Bozzuto Construction. He served as Director of Professional Development, Vice President and President of the Student Chapter of the African American Brotherhood. He also served on the Black Organizations Council. Mr. Donald Riblet. Don is a building construction major from Portsmouth, Virginia. Upon graduation, Don will be going underground. He will be an underground field engineer for Kiewit in Leeds, South Dakota. He was a member of the Zeta Psi fraternity, served as secretary for Ducks Unlimited, and was a member of the ASC competition team. Mr. Jordan Ridgey. Jordan is from Warrenton, Virginia. He will be graduating with his degree in building construction and will work for Branch Builds as an assistant estimator in Roanoke, Virginia. Mr. Connor Rogers. Connor is a building construction major from Lynchburg, Virginia. He will be pursuing his master's degree in building construction. He has competed on the ASC competition team, served as vice president of the Constructors Consortium, served as a building construction ambassador, was a member of the Sigma Lambda Chi, the DBIA competition team, and served Habitat for Humanity. And last week, Connor as well was recognized for his service to the School of Construction. Mr. Joseph Razi. Joseph hails from Reading, Pennsylvania. He will graduate with his degree in building construction and will be employed by Archer Western as a project engineer in Columbia, South Carolina. Mr. J.D. Seal. J.D. is a construction engineering and management major from Chesterfield, Virginia. Upon graduation, he will be a project engineer for Scenbro and Emporia, Virginia. Mr. Calvin Siebert. Calvin is from Matituck, New York. He will be graduating with a degree in building construction and has accepted a position with Seaford Construction in Long Island. He is a member of Phi Delta Delta Theta. Mr. Takir Sharif. Here is a building construction major from Woodbridge, Virginia. He will be a project engineer with MCN Build in Washington, D.C. He was a member of the Muslim Student Association and the Construction Management Association of America. Is Raina Shin. Raina is from Fairfax, Virginia. She will be receiving her degree in building construction and has accepted a position at HIT Contracting in Falls Church as a project engineer. She was a leader for the Love of God, Our Strength student organization and a member of Construction Management Association of America.
Mr. Kyle Skinner.
Kyle is a building construction major from Reading, Massachusetts. He is commissioned with the U.S. Army as an officer. He was a member of Constructors Consortium and secretary for the Appalachian Service Project. Thank you, Kyle, for your service.
Mr. Maurice Smith.
Maurice is from Crofton, Maryland. He will graduate with his degree in building construction and will go to work for Neofect USA in Richmond, Virginia. He was a Presidential Innovation Scholar.
Mr. Matt Sampara.
Matt is a building construction major from Fredericksburg, Virginia. He will work in Washington, D.C. for Hensel Phelps as a field engineer.
Mr. Ramsey Sean Saudi.
Ramsey is from Amman, Jordan. He will be graduating with a degree in building construction.
Mr. Kevin Stevenson.
Kevin, we like Kevin as well. Kevin is from Brunswick, Virginia. He will be receiving a degree in building construction. He will go to work for Stevenson Construction as a project engineer in Miami, Florida. He has served as a BC student ambassador and photographer for the Black Student Alliance.
Mr. Ryan Truslow.
Ryan is a building construction major from Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Mr. David Obeys.
David hails from Westbury, Connecticut. He will be receiving a degree in construction engineering and management. He will be employed by Whiting Turner in Baltimore, Maryland. He served as president of the Engineers in Action Bridge Program and mentor liaison for the Center for Enhancement of Engineering Diversity.
Mr. John Van Hook.
John is a building construction major from Broad Run, Virginia. He will be working for Clark Construction Group as an engineer in Arlington, Virginia.
Mr. Ryan Walker.
Ryan is a construction engineering and management major from Douglas, Massachusetts. He will be working for Gilbane Building Company in Washington, D.C. as a project engineer. He served as officers for Sigma Phi Delta, the Interfraternity Council, and the VT Golf president.
Mr. Robert Walker.
Robert is from Burtonsville, Maryland. He will receive his degree in construction engineering and management. He will be with Mona Electric in Baltimore, Maryland as an assistant project manager. He was a member of the Wesley Foundation here at Virginia Tech.
Mr. Chad Walmer.
Chad is a building construction major from Spotsylvania, Virginia. He will be continuing his education by pursuing a master's degree in building construction. He served as building construction ambassador, was president of Sigma Lambda Chi, Beta chapter president, Associate Schools of Construction competition team, college ambassador, and last week, Chad was recognized as the outstanding BC senior.
Mr. Jackson Worley.
Jackson is from Northfield, New Jersey. He will be receiving his degree in building construction. He will be a naval flight officer stationed in Pensacola, Florida. Jackson, thank you so much for your service.
Ms. Holly White.
Holly is a construction engineering and management major from Northbridge, Massachusetts. She has accepted a position with CBG Building Company as a project engineer in Washington, D.C. She served as a CEM ambassador and did outreach for building women in construction and served on several of our international service learning trips.
Mr. Bailey Williams.
Bailey is a building construction major from Prince George, Virginia. He will be working for Oregon Construction as a project engineer in Richmond, Virginia. He is a member of Sigma Lambda Chi.
Mr. Ryan Worzel.
Ryan is from Lakeville, Pennsylvania. He will be receiving his degree in building construction. He has accepted a position as engineer with Clark Construction in Nashville, Tennessee.
Mr. Angelo Zanka.
Angelo is a building construction major from Massapequa Park, New York. He served on the Building Goodness Foundation as the volunteer coordinator and is a member of Sigma Lambda Chi.
Mr. Soham Zebde.
Soham is a student in the Facilio Construction Engineering and Management graduate program. His home is in Mumbai, India. He will be moving to Los Angeles, California to work as a project engineer for Hathaway Dinwiddie Construction.
Mr. Wang Anye.
Yeah. He's going to graduate school at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. He's also a graduate of the DSEMP graduate program in construction.
Mr. Yaizu Yang.
He as well is from China, graduating in building construction. And ladies and gentlemen, I point your attention to your right and my left for the greatest graduating class of the School of Construction ever. Okay, before you go, and they'll stay there for pictures. Before you go, I want everybody to look at your watches. Okay? If you wanted a long ceremony in the hot sun, you will love the ceremonies tomorrow. This concludes the formal part of our hard-hatting ceremony. I have some logistics instructions for you. We now invite you to a reception in honor of our graduates. In proper construction management, project management, let me cover the scope, schedule, and cost. In scope, the means and methods are as follows. The reception is behind us. The food is on the 3rd floor. If you are able, we would ask you to take the stairs. For those of you who need the elevator, please enjoy the slowest elevator on campus. Once you have your food, the classrooms on the 2nd floor are open to you if you'd like to sit and eat. And in terms of schedule, now, and in terms of cost, this is our gift to you. So thank you and be our guests.
Congratulations. Great young man. Yes.